Ragnar is believed to have lived during the 9th century, a time of great upheaval and exploration for the Norse people. The sagas, such as the Tale of Ragnar's Sons, the Tale of Ragnar Lodbrok, the Krakumal, and the Gesta Danorum, recounts his exploits as a warrior, a legendary king, and a formidable leader of the Vikings. Ragnar Lodbrok was the son of Sigurd, a legendary Danish and Swedish king. Ragnar's exact date of birth is unknown. It's speculated he was born in the early 9th century. We know nothing of his childhood. According to the Gesta Danorum, Ragnar's story begins as he was travelling to Norway to avenge the death of his grandfather in a war against Fro, the self-proclaimed Swedish king. The stage was set for this monumental battle on a wind-swept plain, where the banners of King Fro's army fluttered ominously in the chill Nordic air. Ragnar Lodbrok, a figure of both fear and admiration, led his battle-hardened Viking warriors onto the field, their eyes ablaze with the promise of glory and the thirst for conquest. As the two armies closed in, the clash of steel upon steel resonated like a thunderous war drum. The battlefield became a scene of chaos and carnage, with warriors locked in mortal combat, their faces contorted in grim determination. The air was thick with the scent of blood, sweat, and the metallic tang of weaponry. As the clash of steel resonated on the battlefield, Lagertha emerged as a formidable force, a skilled Amazon whose ferocity and courage mirrored that of the mightiest warriors. The entire army stood in awe of her prowess, witnessing a woman who wielded her weapon with the finesse of a seasoned warrior and the unyielding spirit of a man. In the aftermath of the battle, Ragnar stood among his victorious forces, and it was Lagertha who had played a pivotal role in securing their triumph. Her prowess on the battlefield left an indelible mark on Ragnar, a man renowned for his own martial prowess. Instantly captivated, he beheld Lagertha not only as a fearsome fighter, but also as a paragon of strength and beauty. In the wake of their shared victory, Ragnar and Lagertha's destinies became intertwined. They embarked on a journey of marital union, resulting in the birth of two daughters, whose names have been regrettably lost to the ravages of time. Alongside these unnamed daughters, a son named Friedleif came into the world, a testament to the period of peace that Ragnar enjoyed for the next 3 years. According to the Norse sagas, Ragnar then divorced Lagertha as he wanted to marry Thora, the daughter of Herod, the mythical Earl of Gotland. The story unfolds as Herod proclaimed that whoever could kill the vipers scorching the countryside with their poisonous breath could marry his daughter. Ragnar, fueled by an insatiable thirst for adventure and renown, embarked on a perilous journey that would forever alter the course of his destiny. In order to protect himself from the beasts, Ragnar used a dress and stuffed it with hair. To add further protection and make the dress less penetrable, he soaked it in water and then let the cold freeze it. Deep within the foreboding forests, Ragnar stumbled upon a dark lair, concealed by the twisted roots of ancient trees. Unbeknownst to him, this sinister sanctuary harboured the nest of vipers, venomous serpents whose fangs dripped with lethal poison. Ragnar would make quick work of the vipers, as his dress protected him from their poisonous bites. Ragnar, the warrior, emerged from the viper's lair with shaggy breeches and a newfound reputation, as Earl Herod then saw his dress and gave him the nickname Lodbrok, which means shaggy breeches. At last, Ragnar could marry Thora, and by her he had 2 sons. According to the Vulsunga Saga and the Saga of Ragnar Lodbrok, Ragnar also had a 3rd wife called Aslaug. The story unfolds within the heart of the rugged Scandinavian wilderness. Ragnar's warriors, weary from their journeys and battles, stumbled upon a river, unaware that fate had something extraordinary in store for them. As the men approached the riverbank, the sounds of water dancing over smooth stones reached their ears, luring them closer to the source of this natural serenity. The air was thick with the scent of wild flowers, and a gentle breeze carried whispers of the surrounding forest. As the warriors advanced, their eyes widened in awe at the sight that greeted them. There amidst the crystal clear waters was Aslaug, a vision of otherworldly beauty. Her long glistening hair cascaded over her shoulders like a silken waterfall, and the water clung to her flawless skin like liquid diamonds. In the midst of their daily routines, Ragnar's men found themselves so captivated by this unforeseen spectacle of beauty that they allowed the bread they were baking to burn, a testament to the irresistible allure that had unfolded before them. Intrigued by this distraction, Ragnar inquired about the case, and his men shared the tale of the captivating girl who had seized their attention. Eager to unravel the mystery behind this enchanting maiden, Ragnar summoned her to his presence, but not without testing the depths of her wit. He commanded her to arrive, neither dressed nor undressed, neither fasting nor eating, and neither alone nor in company. To everyone's surprise, she appeared before Ragnar in a net, biting into an onion, accompanied only by a faithful dog. Blinded by her beauty, Ragnar was deeply enamored, and he proposed marriage. However, Aslaug possessed a spirit as untamed as Ragnar's own, and she declined his proposal until Ragnar had completed his mission in Norway. It was during a visit to the powerful Eystein Belly that Ragnar's marital fate took a twist. Eystein, encouraging Ragnar to marry his own daughter, altered the course of events. Yet, upon Ragnar's return home, Aslaug, the mysterious maiden, revealed her noble origins. Her true lineage traced back to the legendary hero Sigurd, the dragon slayer, who felled Fafnir. To prove her heritage, she declared that her son would bear the eye with the image of a serpent, and so she gave birth to Sigurd Snake in the Eye. Ragnar and Aslaug's union bore fruit in the form of 4 sons: Sigurd, Bjorn, Ivar, and Hvitserk. However, Ragnar's second wife Thora would die, and he would plunge into a depressive state. Ragnar sought solace in the relentless pursuit of war, a transformation some linked to a warmonger's path. He decreed that every father devote a son of the least worth, or any perceived lazy or weak slave to his service, illustrating his belief in the unparalleled strength of the Danish race. Driven by his insatiable desire for wealth and recognition by the gods, Ragnar set his sights on Britain. Venturing into the treacherous waters, he launched a ruthless attack on King Haim, the ruler of Northumbria and father to King Ella, leaving in his wake a trail of conquest that echoed the thunderous footsteps of a man destined for myth and legend. He waged war against the Picts of Strathclyde and the Earls of Scotland. The sagas recount the sieges of coastal fortifications and the clashes with the local forces, as Ragnar and his Viking warriors sought to assert dominance over the Scottish and Pictish lands. The narratives paint a vivid picture of the harsh and unforgiving nature of medieval warfare. Ragnar would kill the Earls of Scotland and Pictland in battle, and made his sons Sigurd and Radbard the masters of the provinces. The Gesta Danorum also recounts, while Ragnar was raiding, killing earls, and putting kings to the sword, some Danes were bent on rebellion, and rallied to the side of the now proclaimed King Harold. When Ragnar heard of this, he came back to Daneland. He would then crush the army of the rebels, and drove Harold, the leader of the army, to Germany as a fugitive. All those captured that betrayed Ragnar were tortured to death. However, as Ragnar was chasing Harold to Saxony, the Swedes chose Saul as their king, thus initiating another civil war. When Ragnar heard of this, he asked his sons Bjorn, Friedleif and Radbard for their help, as his sons were accomplished leaders and warriors in their own right. They then went to Sweden to prepare for war. King Saul met Ragnar with his army and offered him a choice between an all-out battle or a duel. Ragnar chose the duel, and Saul set against him a champion called Starkad, a warrior of approved daring, with his band of 7 sons. Ragnar, a king and a warrior, would fight himself. His blood was also cut of the same cloth. Ragnar would choose his 3 sons, Bjorn, Friedleif and Radbard, to help him with the champion fight. As the duel unfolded, the combatants became a blur of frenzied movement and clashing metal. Blood stained the ground, a gruesome testament to the wounds inflicted by all warriors. Starkad's armour, once an imposing fortress, now bore the scars of Ragnar's relentless assault. Starkad, a behemoth of muscle and malice, was dispatched to Valhalla, as were all of his sons. Ragnar and his own sons present would roar in triumph. This particular fight was accredited to Bjorn, as he inflicted a great slaughter on his foes, without even receiving a single scratch, giving him the name Ironside. After the champion fight, Ragnar attacked and killed Saul in a blood rage, and annihilated his entire army. He then presented his son Bjorn with the lordship of Sweden. For a little interval, he then rested from wars, and had another son called Ubba. Not long after, there was a rebellion in Scotland, as they proclaimed a new king. Ragnar instantly set sail there, and went to war. As Ragnar set his sights on the territories of Scotland and Pictland, he embarked on a gory odyssey that would leave an indelible mark on the souls of both the invaders and the defenders. The sagas recount vivid tales of brutal sieges, where the clash of steel, the thundering of hooves of warhorses, and the desperate cries of the fallen created a symphony of chaos. The battles that ensued were gruesome spectacles of carnage and desperation. Viking axes cleaved through Celtic shields, and the air resonated with the sickening thud of swords meeting flesh. However, the battles cost him the lives of his sons, Dunwat and Radbard. According to the chilling accounts in the Annals of St. Bertin, Ragnar, a relentless force of Norse brutality, commanded a formidable fleet of 120 longships, carrying with them thousands of hardened Viking warriors. Their journey up the Seine River was marked by a trail of devastation, as Ragnar's men, hungry for plunder and glory, raided with a ferocity that mirrored the harshness of the Northlands. As Ragnar's raiding party ascended the river, King Charles, determined to safeguard the royal abbey of St. Denis from the impending onslaught, assembled an army. Splitting his forces in two, he stationed one on each side of the river ready to confront the impending storm of Viking savagery. The clash was inevitable, and the battlefield became a theatre of unspeakable horrors. Ragnar, leading his warriors with a grim determination, attacked and overcame one division of the smaller Frankish army. The aftermath was a spectacle of death. Over 100 Frankish prisoners were condemned to a gruesome fate. Hanging lifeless, their bodies would serve as a tribute to the Norse god Odin, a chilling ritual that bespoke the ruthless brutality of the Viking invaders. Emboldened by their victory, Ragnar's forces surged into Paris, a city unprepared for the impending nightmare. The Franks, unable to mount a formidable defence, found themselves at the mercy of the marauding Vikings. The streets of Paris became a nightmarish landscape, echoing with the screams of the helpless and the clash of steel against flesh. The Viking conquest, however, was not without its terms. Unable to muster effective defences, the defeated Franks succumbed to the grim reality of the Viking threat, offering a ransom of 7,000 French pounds. The once proud city of Paris was now a shattered husk of its former glory. Ragnar, unsated by the plunder of Paris, continued his campaign of terror along the coast on his journey home. The Abbey of St. Bertin, a symbol of Christian piety, was not spared by the Viking marauders. The coastal communities were defenceless against the wrath of Ragnar's forces, and they witnessed the brutality of Viking retribution as their sanctuaries were desecrated. According to the Gesta Danorum, setting his predatory gaze once more upon the shores of England, Ragnar and his son Ivar the Boneless embarked on a blood-soaked journey to York. There, amidst the echoes of a darkened past, Ragnar chose to confront King Ella of Northumbria, whose father had been ruthlessly slaughtered years before by Ragnar. King Ella's army found itself crushed beneath the persistent tide of Viking savagery. Defeated and broken, the remnants of Ella's forces were forced into a harrowing retreat. Undeterred by the gruesome aftermath, Ragnar, driven by an insatiable ambition, summoned many of his sons to join him in a brutal conquest of Ireland. The relentless onslaught continued as Ragnar, fueled by a thirst for vengeance, slew King Melbrick and laid siege to Dublin. The city, once a bastion of barbarian wealth, crumbled before the continual might of the Viking marauders. The wails of the dying and the clatter of crumbling fortifications echoed through the windswept landscape as Ragnar revelled in the spoils of war. However, as the tides of fortune shifted, King Ella, seething with vengeful ire, sailed to Ireland to exact retribution for the blood spilled by Ragnar's hand. In a cruel twist of fate, Ragnar's predatory nature proved to be his undoing. Falling into a trap set by the vengeful King Ella, Ragnar's fleet was ensnared, and the once mighty conqueror found himself shackled and cast into a foreboding prison. The grim climax of Ragnar's saga unfolded in a pit of serpentine horror. King Ella, driven by a malevolent thirst for vengeance, cast Ragnar into the abyss, surrounded by venomous snakes, hungry for the taste of blood. Yet, in his final moments, Ragnar defied the clutches of despair. In a courageous voice, he recounted his deeds with chilling precision, the kings he had slaughtered, the lands he had conquered. With a haunting declaration, he spoke of the inevitable fate that awaited those who dared defy the never-ending force of retribution, leaving behind a legacy etched in blood. He then cried, "If the porkers knew the punishment of the boar, surely they would break into the sty and hasten to loosen him of his affliction." When Ragnar's sons heard of their father's death, they would bring a force to England so powerful that an army of that size had not been seen since the time of the Romans. This force, born from the blood-soaked legacy of their fallen father, descended upon their enemies with a ferocity that mirrored Ragnar's own brutal exploits. In his final moments, Ragnar's parting words forged a haunting legacy in the form of the Krakumal, a 12th century skaldic poem known as Ragnar's death song. The verses woven into this poetic tapestry encapsulated the essence of a warrior's farewell, and in its culmination, Ragnar proclaimed his demise with laughter. A spectral grin adorned his face as he envisioned Odin preparing for a feast, welcoming the fallen hero into the hallowed halls of Valhalla. The enigma surrounding Ragnar's life and exploits sparks debates among scholars and historians. The sheer magnitude of wars and battles attributed to him prompts speculation that Ragnar may have been more than a single individual. The tapestry of his saga, woven with the threads of conquest, betrayal, and relentless warfare, hints at a mythic figure, a symbol of Viking prowess, and an indomitable will that could scarcely be contained within the mortal confines of one man. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all soon for another History Profile.